Hello everyone, and welcome back to Bitesized Podcast. I'm your host, Zandali. Happy February, everyone. Wow, what an incredible first month of Bitesized. Thank you so much for the support. It has been so incredible to have you here. Before we jump into our next Bracebridge dinner, I wanted to let you know I'm running a little bit of a giveaway. This month, please be sure to rate and review the podcast, take a screenshot and send me a DM on Instagram at bitesized.podcast, and then be entered to win a gift card to a coffee shop of your choice. This is going on all month long, so you have some time to rate and review it. I would really love to read them. Also, if you are loving Bitesized Podcast, I would love your help in getting the word out. Tell a friend or five how amazing Bitesized is and help us reach more families to help them feel empowered in the nutrition choices they're making for their own bodies and their growing families. Now let's get into a deep dive of all of the essential nutrients you will need during the first trimester of pregnancy. The nutrients I'm going to discuss here today play a very essential role in not only ensuring that your body is keeping up its health, but also how it affects the baby growing inside of you. Keep in mind, this is not all of the nutrients you need, but these are going to be the ones that play a particular role of importance during the first trimester. While this is a heavy information episode, over the coming Mondays, I'm going to be dedicating a little bit more time to some of the nutrients you'll hear about today, just to give you some more information about them and help you feel even more empowered. So we'll be going over the ABCs of the essential nutrients during the first trimester of pregnancy. We're going to review why they're important and the top 3 food sources so that you can start including them in your diet. And as always, I recommend taking a prenatal vitamin before conception, but for sure when you find out you're pregnant. And as a reminder, I am a needed partner, so you can use my code BITESIZED for 20% off of your order. As someone who is not always the best eater and can definitely be known to skip meals, taking vitamins helps me just feel on top of my nutrient intake and definitely affects my energy and my overall mood, so I highly recommend getting on a supplement routine. Now, before you think I'm forgetting, I know that many women experience very horrible morning sickness throughout their first trimester. So the thought of food might be putting you off already. Some of you might even be surviving on toast and noodles, and let me just say, that's totally okay. Fed is definitely better than nothing, but if you're one of the few who is able to continue to eat a very nutrient-dense diet, I really hope you find this information helpful. And when you're starting to feel better from your morning sickness, I hope that you will start to include some more of these foods in your diet. I hold absolutely no judgment against you if you are surviving on toast and noodles, and if you are experiencing really horrible morning sickness, in a couple weeks we'll be going over how to combat that with nutrition, supplements, and food. So keep your head up and not in the toilet bowl until then, and subscribe so you don't miss out. So let's get started on our ABCs. From the top, we'll be covering vitamin A, vitamin B12, vitamin C, vitamin D, choline, folate, iodine, magnesium, and zinc. Vitamin A is certainly controversial in pregnancy, as many people are warned against consuming excess amounts of vitamin A, which has been known to have negative side effects. While there are about 200 cases worldwide of vitamin A toxicity, it's actually far more common to be deficient in vitamin A. Many of these toxicity reports actually come from consuming excess synthetic vitamin A, usually coming from supplements. So it's important to note that we should try and meet our daily requirement, but definitely not exceed it. While vitamin A is important throughout pregnancy, it plays a particular role of importance in the first trimester. Vitamin A helps to develop facial features such as eyes, nose, lips, and dental arches. It is also necessary for helping the baby to reach adequate birth weight and coming to full term. The top 3 food sources for preformed vitamin A are liver, grass-fed butter, and egg yolks. I say preformed vitamin A because that is the bioavailable form of vitamin A in our body that will not need to be converted. While some may have heard that liver is advised against during pregnancy because of its high amounts of vitamin A, because of its natural source of vitamin A, it's actually preferred over a synthetic vitamin A supplement, which tends to cause the toxicity. You also need very little liver to reach the daily requirement needed for vitamin A. Sprinkling a beef liver pill over your food will certainly suffice and will not affect the taste of it at all, but will help you get so many nutrient-dense ingredients right into your diet in such a small dose. Now, there are some plant-based food sources of beta-carotene which will need to be converted into vitamin A within the body. These foods include pumpkin, carrots, and sweet potato. You'll notice that these are very orange foods, so consuming excess amounts of these will turn your skin orange and not in a cute tanned looking way. So don't eat too many. Moving on to B, this is vitamin B12, which is the one to blame for your excess yellow pee. If you are a meat consumer, you will likely meet your daily requirement very easily. If you are plant-based or regularly avoid eating meat, you will definitely consider wanting to supplement this, as you will not be able to meet your daily requirement. Vitamin B12 is needed throughout pregnancy, but particularly in the first trimester, and has benefits for both mom and baby. Vitamin B12 is needed for DNA synthesis and red blood cells. Going back to grade school biology, vitamin B12 also plays an important part in forming the myelin sheath around nerves and the conduction of nerve impulses. For mom, it can aid in anxiety and depression before and after pregnancy. The top food sources for vitamin B12 are tuna, canned salmon, and organ meats. Now, no way am I condoning cannibalism. Organ meats from the animals, people. Sorry, vegans. Again, you are going to need to supplement. Moving on to C, we've got vitamin C, the scurvy-curing vitamin we all know and love. Most people do consume enough vitamin C through their diet and will often find it in their prenatal. While very few people will need to supplement, you could be one of them, so if you are concerned, be sure to reach out and I would be happy to connect you with a nutrition consultant. Many women experience lowered immunity during the first trimester, and this is where vitamin C can come into play. Vitamin C will help boost immunity, absorb iron, and reduce some risks. Vitamin C helps reduce the risk of testing positive for GBS, which is group B strep, which is usually tested in the third trimester. It can also reduce placental abruption by about 36%. The top 3 food sources for vitamin C are acerola cherry, camu camu, and red bell pepper. These food items are very red, so think red. If you have never heard of camu camu before, I really don't blame you. We will be covering this again in a following episode. If you are looking for camu camu immediately, it's usually a powder form, which you can find in a health food store. Now let's talk about the sunshine vitamin, vitamin D. This one is incredibly important, as the status of the mother will determine the status of the baby at birth. Vitamin D has benefits for both mom and baby. Adequate levels are shown to cut premature birth by up to 50%. It is also required for proper bone and teeth development, as well as immune function. For the mother, vitamin D helps maintain proper placental development and function, as well as contributes to a strong immune system. So for top 3 food sources, you're going to want to think fishy options. This is cod liver oil, salmon, and snapper. I've actually never had snapper, but I am a big fan of salmon. Hopefully you are too. If you have tried snapper, can you please let me know what it's like? Now, obviously these are not plant-based friendly options, so if you're not a fish eater, you're going to want to consume a plant-based option such as mushrooms. Mushrooms contain vitamin D2 as opposed to D3, and you're not going to be able to reach the amount required, so you're going to want to likely supplement. Coming up next, we've got choline. Choline is probably the second most important nutrient next to folate and is highly interrelated with folate. It is important throughout pregnancy, but plays a particular role during the first and third trimesters of pregnancy. A survey actually found that about 90% of pregnant women are deficient in choline intake. While supplementing is recognizing more and more how important choline is, it's still recommended to supplement on top of what is likely found in your prenatal. Choline plays an important role in the first trimester as it helps to prevent neural tube defects. Choline supports the development of the placenta, as well as improves brain function, cognitive function, and improves memory. Choline is also needed for proper DNA synthesis. For mom, choline supports liver function. When it comes to choline, kind of have to consider your baby like a leech. Choline has been found to be 10 times greater in amniotic fluid than is in the mother's blood. They're really sucking it out of you, so be sure to supplement because it's important for baby, but also very important for you. The top 3 food sources are egg, liver, and salmon. When eating eggs, be sure to eat the yolk, as that is where most of the nutrients are found. If you are plant-based, again, you probably realize that these food sources will not work for you, so supplementing is a really great option. Moving down the alphabet, we are at F. If you heard my rant on the prenatal vitamins episode, you know exactly what I'm going to say about folate. While folic acid is the commonly recommended term, folic acid is not what we want. We're looking for folate. You might see folate written as folate, folinic acid, or MTHF-5. Folate is the natural form of B9 found in food sources, and folic acid is the synthetic form, which we are trying to avoid. Folate is very important in the first trimester, especially during the first 4 weeks of pregnancy. Often, this is so early on that a woman may not even realize that she's pregnant, which is why I really urge you, if you are not trying, to be on a prenatal vitamin before this happens. Just like choline, folate helps to prevent neural tube defects in the first 4 weeks. It also helps to reduce midline defects as well as develops the face and heart, and is necessary in the production of DNA and cells. It also promotes adequate birth weight. For the mother, folate plays an important role in helping to reduce anemia, preeclampsia, and placental abruption. The top 3 food sources for folate are liver, beans, and lentils. It is recommended that all women supplement with a preferred form of folate. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Next we have iodine. Iodine deficiency is actually one of the most common in the world, affecting about 1/3 of the population. While in North America this isn't generally an issue because of our iodized salt, some women may still be affected. Since pregnancy needs actually double, this is why some women might find themselves deficient. Iodine plays a particular role in thyroid function. Your thyroid is necessary for hormone balance and helping control your emotions. So if you find yourself extra sporadic during these months, iodine could definitely be contributing to those excess pregnancy hormones. The fetus relies on the mother's thyroid function up until 16 weeks. At 16 weeks, it will start to make its own thyroid hormones. Improper thyroid function could lead to neurodevelopmental delays as well as lower IQ. For the mom, not meeting iodine requirements could lead to hypothyroidism and an underactive thyroid. The top food sources for iodine are kelp, haddock, and cod. Skipping over some letters in the alphabet, we find ourselves at M. Magnesium is actually a mineral that has a very important role in the body. It is responsible for over 300 enzymatic reactions within the body. Consider this like the oil for all of the parts in the car. It keeps things moving along and plays such a great role, and definitely something you're going to notice if it's missing. Magnesium is interesting because while a lot of the focus during pregnancy is on the health of the baby, magnesium is particularly important for the mother. While magnesium still plays a role and transfers a little bit to the baby, it is mostly important for the health of the mother. The baby needs magnesium for DNA, RNA, and protein synthesis, as well as a little bit of bone health. For the mother, magnesium has far more benefits. It helps to relieve morning sickness, constipation, leg cramps, and more. The top food sources for magnesium are oats, spinach, and pumpkin seeds. These sources are friendly for all diets. As a bonus, cocoa powder also is pretty high in magnesium, so if you're looking for a sweet treat, feel free to add some cocoa powder to your energy bites or use it to create a nice hot chocolate beverage late in the evening. Lastly, my favorite letter in the alphabet, Z, Z, however you say it. Another important mineral is zinc. It is estimated that about 80% of women worldwide have a zinc deficiency. Zinc is important throughout pregnancy, but particularly in the first trimester when you may be experiencing lowered immunity. Zinc also plays a role in the immune function of the baby. For the baby, it also helps support protein synthesis, cellular division, and reduces the risk of a low birth weight. It can also help reduce the risk of chronic illness in future generations. The top food sources are oysters, crabs, and oats. I don't know about you, but oysters are just cold, wet boogers. Not for me. But if you like oysters, enjoy. You'll notice if you're plant-based, some of those options won't work for you, so you might want to add pumpkin seeds, ricotta cheese, or heart of palm into your diet. While there are some plant-based sources of zinc, they won't contain as much zinc as the other sources I mentioned, so be sure to supplement. Lastly, I want to remind you how important it is to take a prenatal vitamin throughout your pregnancy. If you're unsure about prenatal vitamins, be sure to listen to my episode on how to pick one. You can also refer to my Instagram where I compared some Instagram famous supplement brands such as Ritual and Care Of to Needed, which I've mentioned I am a partner of. So to summarize, you're going to want to check your ABCs for the first trimester. Vitamin A, B, C, D, folate, iodine, choline, magnesium, and zinc. Don't forget your prenatal either. You're going to want to think bright colors, fishy foods, and sprinkling pumpkin seeds on everything. Vegans, be sure to supplement where I have mentioned. If you are a little bit confused, be sure to message me on Instagram and I'd be happy to point you in the right direction. Tune in over the following Mondays as we dive in a little bit deeper on some of these nutrients. Again, leave us a review and DM me a screenshot to be entered to win a gift card to a coffee shop of your choice. My Instagram handle is @bitesized.podcast, and if you want to follow us on any other platform, be sure to check the show notes below. In case no one has told you today, you look ravishing. Bye! Although I am a certified holistic nutrition consultant, I am not your consultant. The information herein is purely for entertainment and educational purposes only and does not always apply to your specific needs. While I strive to provide you the most up-to-date information about nutrition, this is not a substitute for professional and medical advice, and you should definitely speak to your personal healthcare practitioner for advice tailored to you.